Well, with me in the studio is Behnam Ben Taleblu, Senior Director of the Iran Programme at the Foundation for Defence of Democracies. Behnam, good to see you. This is just another twist in the tale of the nuclear story of Iran, the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. What's happening here, and how significant is this latest development?
Well, great to be with you. As one file closes, another opens. And in so many ways, we are now officially, based on the failure of this vote at the UN Security Council at 3 p.m. Eastern Time earlier today, will essentially be going back to the future when it comes to not just America, but the West and indeed the international community's baseline Iran policy. This failure of the vote is the predicate to the automatic restoration or snapback of older, tougher UN Security Council resolutions on Iran that contain sanctions, that contain travel bans, that contain asset freezes, as well as prohibitions on things like arm transfers and missile tests.
Iran has said that it won't deal with the international nuclear watchdog, and it does have friends on its side, China and Russia, who put forward the attempt to block this in the first place.
That's right, China and Russia throughout this entire process, but really since it was moved from a belated discussion over the nuclear issue and deal implementation in 2015 and 2016 into a full crisis, China and Russia have become more and more Iran's lawyers on the UN Security Council, as well as in other critical UN bodies like the 35-member Board of Governors at the International Atomic Energy Agency. In short, Iran was banking on a last-minute diplomatic interception by the Russians and the Chinese to be able to stall this European-led snapback effort. Lest we forget, literally 5 years ago this month, the Europeans actually blocked the Trump administration's unilateral attempt at this. And fast forward 5 years, the Europeans are now actually copy-pasting part of Trump 1.0's policy on Iran, largely because of Iran's nuclear infractions.
Of course, the West, the US in particular, are concerned about Iran's nuclear weapons program. Is this latest development just a diplomatic headache, or is there actual substance and concern here?
Well, the Iranians have been interesting to watch on this because they're reacting to it. Initially, they said that this is something so grave that they would leave the NPT over. But in the post-12-day world, and in particularly the post-October 7 Middle East, which has seen a whole host of war zones in that region, I think they understand that if they leave the NPT, they actually paint more, not less, of a military target on their back. And given that this snapback would restore older, tougher resolutions that were passed under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter that actually declare the Iranian nuclear program a threat to international peace and security, they understand that now the legal shadow of military force could cover them as well.
What's the bigger regional picture here? We've seen Pakistan recently offering its support to Saudi Arabia. Now, whether that would include use of Pakistan's nuclear weapons, there's still a big question mark over that. But how is this changing dynamics in the Middle East?
Well, I think there is great linkage, and you're right to point about that potential Saudi-Pakistan deal. It's been a long-time concern of Washington of does Riyadh have some kind of nuclear capability in the basement. But I would say that, the Islamic Republic's military quest in the region, which has been faced with setbacks since post-October 7, have now been matched with the Islamic Republic's nuclear setbacks in the region and particularly at home as well. I mean, make no mistake, this is the first time the Islamic Republic is not enriching uranium on its own soil since April 2006.
Okay, Behnam Ben Taleblu from the Foundation for Defence of Democracies, thank you very much.
Thank you.